Hey y'all, so today kind of an interesting reloading hack. I was recently reloading some jacketed hollow point bullets and I was using my Lee fork die set, and I started noticing that when I was reloading um, the rounds that the nose of the round was kind of getting smushed in, and I have comparisons here to show. Here's one normal, and then there's one after it was loaded. And you can see the hollow point is closed up quite a bit, which kind of defeats the purpose of having a hollow point. So I was searching around for fixes on the internet, and I learned that most die sets have their seating die is reversible. So like one side is set up for flat, more like loading hollow points, and then the other is curved for loading like round nose. So upon tearing apart my Lee set, I found out that Lee sets don't have that. Lee sets are single-sided and look like this, if I can get it to focus right. So it's just like a domed shape, whatever. Works real well for loading non-hollow point projectiles. So I was trying to figure out how could I fix this, and I started Googling on the internet, and I learned several things. Your options pretty much are either send your die off to Lee, and they will make you, I guess, a custom cedar die so that it'll work with your particular round. Or I saw a bunch of people that did little weird homemade fixes where they would take GB weld and form their own head, basically do what Lee does, but kind of in a cruder way, and it of course forever ruined your die. You know, when you start slopping it up with JB Weld, it might make it impossible to load other rounds while you're making it easier to load that particular round. So I wanted to think of something that was reversible, and I started kicking around different ideas, thinking about it, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. What's happening is because this is like a domed thing, the round is getting pushed into this, right? And it's like squeezing it. So is there a way I can make it that it doesn't squeeze on it and it just holds the round in place? So I'm going to switch over to my press and show you what I did. Alright, so here we are at the reloading press. I'm going to show you what I did. Basically, what my hack is leather, or maybe rubber. I have not tried rubber, but if you have like a sheet of rubber, it might also work. But it's a pretty simple process, and I'm going to pan down. Basically, what you're doing is you're creating like a memory foam pillow for your seating die. So what you're going to do is take, I took just an empty casing, right? Same general size of the bullet, a little bit bigger. I took it, traced around the round, cut it out, and took the swatch of leather, and I took my next round ready to be loaded, right? Pan back up to the press. So I took the next round ready to be loaded, and I put it in like I would normal, put the patch of leather on, and the reason why you want the patch of leather a little bit bigger than this is what's going to happen is the first time you run it up into your die, it's actually going to get stuck up in there. Now, thankfully, if you need to, you can get it out just by disassembling your die and pulling it out. It's not the end of the world, but it's going to stay up there enough so that as you run each round, it's not going to fall out or mash together or mess up your seating depth. So what I did was I placed it on the top of the round to send it in the first time. Undid my seating die a little bit because you will have to reset your seating depth, and just ran it up into the die. And what it did was it took rounds that were getting all smashed up and basically ruined. I mean, they weren't ruined, but they definitely were not usable if you were using them in a serious application, and turned them into perfect formed bullets. No issue. Like I said, and here's before and after, and I don't know how well this is going to show up on camera. This is actually one of the ones that's not as smashed, but some of them were getting, literally the opening was half the size as it was originally. And I know it's a problem because there's quite a few people on the internet asking about it, so that's why I kind of wanted to make this video to try and give this little hack. Um, it's worked so far really well. I've done about 100 and some rounds with that method and no issues. I will say, I'm assuming after a couple hundred rounds, the leather would probably deteriorate. You might have to put in a new swatch. If you're planning on doing thousands and thousands of rounds, might be worth it just to get have a custom die made or find a different die that's changeable. But if you're only looking to do a few hundred rounds via hollow point, I think it's definitely something worth trying out. And for me, it didn't cost me a dime. Like I said, that was the one annoying thing, was the thought of having to buy either another full die set or send away to have Lee custom do something, or maybe run the risk of ruining my current die. This is a neat little hack that doesn't do any of those things. And if you've got a scrap piece of rubber or leather or something laying around, like hard rubber, doesn't cost you anything. And if it doesn't work, you pull it right back out and go back on to what you were doing. But just a neat little hack I wanted to let everybody know. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them, and have a good day.